Hello, and welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What Am I Thinking? A podcast where two sisters share uplifting conversations on fun and sometimes serious topics.
Join us each week by clicking the notification bell and subscribing to our channel. If you enjoy the show, use the share link. It's one of the best ways to expand the conversation.
Hello, and welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What am I thinking? Well, it's been a minute, but we are thinking that we're going to have our say on the Real Housewives of Potomac. They they've done part 1 and part 2 of their reunion. We've learned a little bit of information about who's coming back and still figuring out who else may not come back and all that stuff. But the biggest part of this, Lori, and me wanting to have my say is that I feel like I am over the Real Housewives of Potomac. What do you have to say?
Well, you're right. We took a hiatus and a lot has happened during the time that we are gone. And the sad thing about it is that throughout the weeks that we've not recorded, instead of things stabilizing or, oh my goodness, getting better, it was just a rapid decline from worse to worse. And
Agreed.
I am I wasn't even sure that I wanted to watch the reunion, but it's kind of like um you're in the theater and you're at this horrible show and you're just kind of sticking around because you've paid and you just want to see how it ends. It was just one of those. Like, I just could not wait for it to be over. We've got one more installation to the three-part reunion, which I am not expecting anything from it, to be quite frank.
Well, nothing that's going to be checking the right boxes. It's one of those things where um, individuals, it's one sided, and I feel like Candace did get to speak some of her piece, but it sort of fell on deaf ears, which was sad to me. And for her, I'm grateful that she, under whatever the circumstance is, that she's taking a break or whatever, whether she comes back or doesn't come back, because the state of the show right now, there would be no upside for her to be there. And so, as a viewer, I'm not happy about it. But for her personally, I am, and I think she's going to be better off for it. As a viewer, it just means that I'm not tuning in because I just felt like a big voice of reason that was there is gone, and I don't have time. It's so funny to with Giselle. I can truly empathize with her loss of her father, and that was a very real moment and all those things. But just like she can check right back into being, messy and nasty and mean girl, uh, even after a moment like that related to her father. So,
That was
I'm
like
just
that.
checking out.
I mean, when I saw that, that was one of those like scary movie moments. Like, you are you're sad and you are reflecting on this loss, and then, like, flipping a switch, the tears dry up and you've got some daggers and something negative to say about a person that's sitting across from you. Like, the feelings that you had moments earlier weren't even there. It was scary
Right.
watching that.
And the fact that Candace was emotional shows that she's human. Even though she does not care for you, she can empathize with the loss of a parent who can't, you know? And so for her to just get right back into beast mode is what she did. And, it just was, it was not fun to watch. And I understand from Candace's perspective, and I like how she laid out her Robin's non-response. And if you notice, she never really shared fully why she was ghosting Candace and not fully responding to her. She glossed over it and gave an excuse and a reason that doesn't really add up, because the bottom line was she was mad at Candace on behalf of Giselle.
And that's the sad thing about it, because one thing I can say is, listening not to all blogs, because I can't say that this is true of all the comments that I've heard, but there are some smart viewers that could read the writing on the wall and were able to piece together puzzles and come to some conclusions, because enough innuendos were given to know that um, Candace didn't really do anything to reach the height of uh, of distrust and all of the other things that Robin said before. As Candace gave us a timeline, she went on her Twitter rant and whatever other rant. Prior
Right.
to that, if and she didn't discount anything Candace said, they were fine.
Right.
And then suddenly you have this other friend of yours, Giselle, who is on the outs with
Yep.
Candace and her
Yep.
husband. And you work with her and you have a show with her. It makes perfect sense that you want to keep that relationship, because if you believe what's on the street, Giselle is the reason you're still on the show, or we're still on the show, Robin. So you have to be beholden to the person that is lobbying for you. And that's what she did. She chose the person that was going to keep her on that show. She
Correct.
created a reason to be angry with Candace and to continue her feud. And it didn't work for her. We as the fans were able to see through it, and Candace gave us the timeline to solidify me knowing that whatever Robin was saying, it was either lies, half truths, or something else completely different.
Right. Right. I agree. And it's one of those things where, listening to it and looking at it, you can tell that it is, it's just surface, and Candace Texter says, "Are you mad at me?" Yeah, she has to ask that because she knows she really hasn't done anything to you per se for you to be mad at. You're mad at her on someone else's behalf, and that person really has no ground to be mad at her. She should be mad at herself for creating a false narrative, but no, that would just be too correct to do that. So,
And can I say, I have to, if we were giving MVP for the episode 2, I would have to say it goes to Chris. He
mm,
came out there, he held his composure. He had a woman, Robin, literally questioning him, the person that, you're not supposed to be friends with. As she
right,
even said to his wife, we're not even friends. So if that's the case, you shouldn't be concerned about whoever is accusing him of anything. And more to the point, why isn't your husband sitting behind you?
yes.
So you're going to bring up something about somebody else's husband, and you can't even get your unemployed husband to come and support you. And you're okay with that while you're questioning somebody else's husband.
If her husband if he peeped any aspect of the reunion and saw how she did Chris, I guarantee you, he probably dressed her down for that, because that would cross the line for him. And I know he knows that would be inappropriate for her to do what she did to Chris. And I know he was not a fan of that, if he happened to have seen it. Um, but who knows where Juan is and what he's doing, if he's doing anything. He's probably anti-housewife, everything except the paycheck.
And it's funny because I remember when this franchise came on, I did not jump right on board in season one. And I remember you had watched season one and told me that it was good and that I should watch it. So season two, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a go. And from the offset, I did question some of the relationships. Are these women really friends, or are they associates that create friendships for the show? Wasn't really sure, but even back then, the drama wasn't this down, dirty kind of drama that it has evolved into. And that
Correct.
is where I have my issue. I understand, we all watch these reality shows for our own reasons. Some they enjoy the negativity, they enjoy the vitriol that sometimes come from some of the women. I don't check those boxes. I think that you can have a good show and not try to purposely destroy someone's life, and worse, not be punished for it, but instead be rewarded. That I I cannot sign up for that. And for this reason, and I shared with Tracy, unless I see a change for, I believe it's season 9, and certain people are gone, which I suspect they won't be, I will not be watching, because you're not going to get my viewership while you're rewarding people for bad behavior. I just can't sign up for that.
I agree. And that's where I'm landing with it too, Lori. Part of why I continue to watch, because I've never been a fan of Giselle, never been a great fan of, several of them that are on there. I can take or leave Karen. I don't feel one way or the other about her. Been glad about some of the ways she has been showing up. And when Monique and Candace were at it, it made a difference for me to continue to watch. And um, I just don't feel the same about it. And I don't like the way they're doing this alliance thing. I don't like the Green Eyed Bandit stuff. I'm not enjoying it. And so I don't know what changes they could make. I don't know what changes they could make that could get me back in, but I am good to say I enjoyed it while it lasted. And, it might be good for them to take a nice little break. Maybe people will come back and not, well, no, I can't even say that. I was going to say because people are who they are, especially at the ages that they are.
The
So let me not even tell that story. So that's not happening. And nobody's watching themselves back and having revelations. That's not happening either. So it is what it is. So for me, I'm tuning out. And Lori, it sounds like you're checking the same box. If you're tuning out and you are over it when it comes to the Real Housewives of Potomac, let us know. If you feel differently and you feel like Candace being gone may be a good thing and you want to watch it even the more, share that. But let us know what you're thinking. And tune in next week and see what we are thinking.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely ours and should be taken as such. Our thoughts are intended purely for entertainment purposes. Please do not take anything we say as fact or advice. Thank you for listening.